YouTube slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. We were coming up on 700,000 subscribers when YouTube dropped the bomb. The Vox Apocalypse bomb. Over 600 videos on the channel, all of them restricted in less than 12 minutes. Didn't see the first video get demonetized for a half hour. An hour-long interview with Jordan Peterson. You know how to tell when your video's about to be demonetized, Chief? You can tell by how many misinformation warnings you see, by how much truth is actually in there. We didn't know. Because YouTube's policies have been so secret. No email notifications had been sent. They didn't answer any of our emails for weeks. We thought fellow conservatives would help join the fight. The very first week, Chief, the business of Big Con started screwing, so we formed ourselves, into a tight group, the Mug Club. It's kind of like the old squares in the battle like you see in the calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo. And the idea was Big Tech come along with Big Con and come in to take control of our channels, and we'd start pounding and hollering. And sometimes Big Tech and Big Con go away. Sometimes they wouldn't go away. Sometimes those big conservative con men, they look right into you, right into your eyes. The thing about a big con's eyes is they got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. They come at you, doesn't seem to be living, till you hear them recite tired rhino talking points, and those milquetoast spineless eyes roll over white. Oh, then you get that terrible bullcrap cease and desist letter. Your channel turns red from a hard strike, in spite of all the fighting and the hollering your supposed allies coming with YouTube themselves and rip you to pieces. Nobody said a thing when Mug Club moved on, lost access to all our subscribers. I don't know how many Mug Clubbers, maybe 400,000. Don't know how many unshipped mugs. We got emails every hour. On Thursday morning, Chief, I get a letter from a so-called friend of mine. One of those big conservative networks, big money type. And I see the contract offered scrolled up and down, thinking it was kind of a mistake. Well, turns out it wasn't a mistake. I knew when the contracts came in, Chief, exactly what the other poor bastards were forced to sign. Literally 110% penalties against their own conservative content creators on behalf of Big Tech. That was the time I was most frightened, seeing that so many people on our side were dead with Big Tech themselves. I'll never be part of one of those networks again. So, the bidding war started with everyone wanting a pound of flesh, and instead we decided to go dark until March 20th, 2023. Anyway, we kept the Mug Club.
So no matter what the market's doing, he's ready. And that...
Who could you be coffee? Yeah. We're sorry.
YouTube slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. We were coming up on 700,000 subscribers when YouTube dropped the bomb. The Vox Apocalypse bomb. Over 600 videos on the channel, all of them restricted in less than 12 minutes. Didn't see the first video get demonetized for a half hour. An hour-long interview with Jordan Peterson. You know how to tell when your video's about to be demonetized, Chief? You can tell by how many misinformation warnings you see, by how much truth is actually in there. We didn't know. Because YouTube's policies had been so secret. No email notifications had been sent. They didn't answer any of our emails for weeks. We thought fellow conservatives would help join the fight. The very first week, Chief, the business of Big Con started screwing, so we formed ourselves, into a tight group, Mug Club. It's kind of like the old squares in the battle like you see in the calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was Big Tech come along with Big Con and come in to take control of our channels, and we'd start pounding and hollering, and sometimes Big Tech and Big Con go away. Sometimes they wouldn't go away. Sometimes those big conservative con men, they look right into you, right into your eyes. The thing about a Big Con's eyes is they got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. They come at you, doesn't seem to be living, till you hear them recite tired rhino talking points, and those milquetoast spineless eyes over white. Oh, then you get that terrible bullcrap cease and desist letter. Your channel turns red from a hard strike, in spite of all the fighting and the hollering. Your supposed allies come in with YouTube themselves and rip you to pieces. Nobody said a thing when Mug Club moved on, lost access to all our subscribers. I don't know how many Mug Clubbers, maybe 400,000. Don't know how many unshipped mugs. We got emails every hour. On Thursday morning, Chief, I get a letter from a so-called friend of mine. One of those big conservative networks, big money type. Then I see the contract offered scrolled up and down. I think it was kind of a mistake. Well, turns out it wasn't a mistake. I knew when the contracts came in, Chief, exactly what the other poor bastards were forced to sign. Literally 110% penalties against their own conservative content creators on behalf of Big Tech. That was the time I was most frightened, seeing that so many people on our side were dead with Big Tech themselves. I'll never be part of one of those networks again. So, the bidding war started with everyone wanting a pound of flesh, and instead we decided to go dark until March 20th, 2023. Anyway, we kept the Mug Club.
That's called a slightly frustrated sip. It's a good problem to have, but it's a problem. And we apologize. We were more than on time. Alex Jones, of course, who's here, was on time, and it's a miracle. But Rumble, we appreciate it. Again, servers crashed because so many of you are migrating from YouTube to Rumble. They're moving at warp speed, but it needs to be warpeder Rumble.
Is that a speed?
I don't know. I guess it's plaid. So please, if you're right now, wherever you are on social, if you're on YouTube, migrate to Rumble, just let everyone know, comment on social, post it out there, let people know that we are on. We apologize for the delay. So many of you tuned in that it crashed, and that's not going to be happening again. Right, number 2, Gerald?
Right.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm fantastic.
All right.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have 190, 200,000 people trying to tune in at once.
Yeah. No,
I've been in Joe Rogan's studio back when we were breaking records as a guest. Then we get very excited about 150, 160, 170. That's Elon Musk level live at one time. That means those shows will get 20, 30 million views total. So congratulations to you and to Rumble. But like you were saying off air, nobody's got the servers like YouTube yet, but Rumble's building them. Yeah. So this is growing pains.
Yeah, no, it's growing pains. It's a good problem to have. Yeah. And I don't want you married to your phone today because you don't need to be dealing with all this crap, Gerald.
Got no phone. I got
CEO.
These hands.
All right, so we have so much to get to, so I appreciate it. My question actually of the day to you, before we get into anything else here today, is how do you watch the show? Because we don't really have the ability to do Nielsen, which is largely fake. But send us your pictures. You can send them to me on social, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, at SCrowder, at Louder with Crowder, I believe, on Instagram. Do you watch on your television? How many people are watching? We're trying to get an idea for how many people per screen, because I know it's like 2.5, 3 million of you, whatever it is, but we don't know how many people are watching that screen. Let us know, and that'll help us kind of get an unofficial head count.
Let's use 10 as the multiple. Let's just do that.
10?
That's probably high.
Oh, my headphones are a little bit low and yours are a little bit high. All right, so we're going to be talking today. Donald Trump update. And as this breaks live regarding the indictment, we'll be discussing that. We'll also be discussing, Donald Trump versus Ron DeSantis, this sort of fracturing that's taking place. What the pros and cons for each of them. I don't know if you know this. There's a major seaweed blob. We're headed on a collision course here in the United States. And I don't know if you saw some racism that took place in the New York subway.
No.
Well, it's Wednesday.
Really?
And we'll also be talking about the YouTube exodus that is taking place. It is and I mean, for the very first time, the numbers have flipped. YouTube is becoming the backup. Provided Rumble, make sure the servers are strong enough. We love you, but come on. What are you doing? What are you doing there in Florida? Get off the beach.
Red Tide's gone.
Red Tide. Well, that's why they're on the beach.
Well, it's Red Tide for servers.
Right.
Son of a.
Number 2, Gerald, CEO now. How's it feel?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just a little jumbled because we were trying to get stuff.
By the way, Gerald's lighting is very nice, and so is yours. And I'm not that beautiful of a person, but why do I have the flashlight under the face, over the head look?
Well, that's because we have a segment called Scary
Look horrible. My face is bloody.
And Photoshop. That's going.
Crowder told me yesterday. He said, "You keep interrupting, I'm going to knock me out, folks."
No, that's
broke my nose. Look at it.
You just make him go
Kill
dark.
the one above my head. Just kill the one above my head. Right,
What do you? No, don't make him go dark. Then he's gonna look like he's in the bottom of a pizza parlor with Podesta.
Pizza.
No, turn those lights on. This one off. The one in the back.
Okay, that's off now.
Okay, so you know him, you love him. He is here. This is the show. Alex
now
Jones.
I'm directing things.
Do not tune into while we're still on YouTube. MadMaxWorld.tv at noon Eastern, 11 Central. He will not be hosting a show there.
Nope.
And that link is not available for you to peruse at will. So, Alex Jones, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm good here. It's quite the controversy that I got so excited yesterday that I got hurt myself.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yes.
Should we show that first?
I think that might be a fun way to.
All right. Okay. So let me just show you exactly what happened here first. This will be a clip. So I'm sure you've all noticed, Alex. You can show them the shiner. Not really shiner, but that's pretty good. I hope you use
it's almost an inch long and it popped up and pretty wide.
Yeah.
Because you love fancy wood paneling.
Yeah. It's Formica. It wipes right off. Yeah. So I'm sure that you've all seen this, and you may be wondering why. But luckily, our security cameras here in the office captured the whole thing. And Alex, God love him, he is what you see is what you get. He came out and he was excited, so you can't hear the audio, but he came out. He's like, "Why didn't you guys tell me? You had 175,000 on Rumble. That's monumental." And we're all like, "Okay, great, Alex." And then you see him turn back, and he forgets that there's a wall.
Well, somebody said to me, they said, "Hey, you're back on your show."
Right.
So I go, "Okay, great, I'm going." Bam, right in the corner of the wall.
So let's play this here, Toolman.
They say if it bleeds, it leads, ladies and gentlemen. And I was literally out there in the hallway congratulating Steven Crowder on record level views. And then they said, "You're back on air." So I turned, and they got this wood paneling on the walls. So I turned right to the edge of the wall. It's okay. This nose has been broken like 20 times, so it's not a big deal.
All right, so here's the best part of that is right away as it's happening, as he's about to walk into a wall, he has a man here who's wonderful, there to protect him, right who helps keep Alex safe. And he's watching the whole time, and as soon as it happens, his face just says, of course. And you even look to him like, are you going to do something about this?
Mike is more than security. He's super smart, good friend of mine. He's also a podcaster in his own right. But he kind of has to hold my hand. He knows I get distracted. And he told me last night, but today when I saw the video, it's true. He saw it happening in live time and almost said something, but he didn't. And then I run into the wall.
Well, here we go. Let's roll this here. Tim, show. So here's Alex walking in. Okay, we know what's about to happen now. Right before that happens, Gerald is looking like, are you going to do something? And Mike right there is just like, yep. Yep.
Zero parts of
zoom in more on Mike's face because you can really see him smiling and laughing.
He's smiling and laughing. He's more so supposed to protect you from
I am
external
kind of like
threats.
Yosemite Sam meets the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, well, the same voice. Was it Mel Blanc?
I hate rabbits.
What was the guy's name? Mel Blanc?
Yep.
I was just watching it
I'm
the other
the
day.
roughest, toughest. I'm raised the Pecos.
It's incredibly violent. I just watched it yesterday with my little ones, and he puts a fish on the hook. Sylvester, puts a worm on the hook for the fish, and then the worm tries to crawl up the hook and crawl back down the fishing line, and he has a .44 Magnum.
Yeah.
Point. He's like, and he goes back to it's like, so why don't you just shoot the fish?
Absolutely.
It's harder.
All right, but here's something else before we get to anything else. This guy is just, this is everything is brave and beautiful, and I don't think Alex has seen this yet, Mr. Jones. But I'm sorry. Let's watch.
Wow. Is that real?
Something.
Ugh. Damn.
What'd you find him at a puppy mill? Overbreed the bros. Like, remember shame?
It's terrible.
Alex, remember that was a thing?
Yes.
Shame. Can we bring it back?
Like, I'm a little overweight and I'm ashamed of myself. This guy literally is like proud of the disgustingness. And then we're not even supposed to say that's disgusting and unhealthy.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
definitely. Well, but I think Toolman made a great point. This person was probably way more unhealthy at some point, lost a ton of weight, and is still tons of fun.
Well, that's the victory lap.
Exactly. I think in that look, maybe that person's lost 300 pounds.
Well, that would, and then if that's belly dancing and that's loose skin from previous fat guy bod, that's an unfair advantage.
Well, it is a stunning and brave young lady.
Look, I actually met a woman. This is true. I met a woman the other day who told me that she said I compete in drag queen shows, and she said, but not with kids or anything like that. She's like, I compete in drag queen shows. I said, I had some questions, right? Because as far as I knew, this was a woman. She goes, yeah, and a lot of people say that I shouldn't because I'm a woman. They say it's an unfair advantage. I'm like, well, yes. If the point is to win, that she goes,
Wow, though, that's the next level.
I love it.
So it's not just men saying they're women. Now it's women saying they're women against men who say they're women.
Yes, and she was like,
And the only area a woman can beat a man is in looks instead of the physical.
and you can't ask her. That's the
Wow, she
brilliant part.
figured out how to game the
figured out-
system.
It was
Oh my God, you got to get her on.
I don't know if she would want to be on the show. She's a wonderful, beautiful African American woman. Where I go to this establishment, and it's a place. Okay, she serves food. But
Come on,
she was telling me about this,
it's a brothel.
and she was saying some people say it's an unfair advantage. I'm like, yes, you're a woman, but if they beat you at your swim meets, then go beat them at the drag queen shows. And what can they do?
Totally
They
fair.
can't ask. They can't dead name her. She just says my preferred pronouns are they and them and their, and they're like, well, crap. I guess we lose this one.
Maybe she just does a really good job.
If they keep making men women of the year, why can't we make a woman woman of the year?
That's a good idea.
That's 100%
Stretch.
That's almost like the inception of what used to be considered normal.
Well, exactly. So you go all the way around the arc of insanity back to sanity.
Yes.
Because now, since every woman of the year, every year for like 5 years is a man, someday it'll come back to a woman.
Yeah, and by man. You can bring us back right after. By the way, you don't need to self-censor. We have the YouTube dump button, so it's fine. It'll go on Rumble, but it won't go on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube and you see this button, there you go. That means head on over to Rumble. So we
I like the elevator music.
Yeah, it's
Nice. It's soothing.
So
It's the only
if
way
I
you get
want to
copyright
identify,
free.
how about if I identify as Rachel Levine?
Yeah.
Like if he's taking a woman's identity, I can now take his identity. What if I say I'm an admiral and the deputy head of Health and Human Services myself?
Oh, well, yeah, I thought you meant like steal a social security number. And, like,
no, I can do that too.
Yeah.
If I identify as that person,
sure. Yeah. Just rack up a bill for like, GQ.
Isn't that fair?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it's fair.
What if I identify?
I don't think it's fair.
What if I
think
kidnap you and put you in the trunk and then I identify as
No,
Steven
there
Crowder?
are laws against that.
No, but you're going to stand in the way of me.
I don't think it's fair. I think it's morally imperative that you do that, Alex.
Yes.
I'll be disappointed in you if you don't do it. Wear someone's skin like a suit. I tell you what's not confusing. This is a live show, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're trying to get you off of passive consumption on social media apps. So just tune in, bookmark it. The best place to go is Rumble. You can download the Rumble app, by the way, so notifications actually work on the Rumble app. And
that's pretty intense.
That was good.
Yeah.
Mug Club is free.
I feel like I have to download it now.
Mug Club is free all month, so you go to louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. The Friday show will only be on, maybe not on Rumble because it'll be streaming there on that network, but you get Mug Club, you get Nick DiPaolo's show. So,
by the way, this is revolutionary because nobody's been able to buck the system and win like you are, other than maybe Joe Rogan going to Spotify, but they still massively censor. So what you're doing is revolutionary for everybody else. Congratulations to the entire Louder with Crowder operation.
Thank you.
And all the viewers that are making
team.
it happening. No, a lot of people are watching, don't want this to be successful.
He's like my hype man.
He is.
I just wish the servers were robust enough. Okay.
Well,
So,
I mean, but it's not bragging; it's fact. I mean, seriously, we need independent media that's already been, number one or number two to continue to be number one. And the fact that you're not bound to censorship and winning is a win-win-win for everybody.
I understood maybe 40% of what you just said, but I very much appreciate the spirit, your zeal.
Well, just imagine, they've tried to shut you down. They've tried to control you. Almost everybody else has gone along with it. And so if you can win and be number one on a new independent platform, that is as awesome as it gets. It'd be like if the major car manufacturers, say, a famous race 50 years ago, a lot of cases of this, wouldn't let a new car manufacturer put a car on the track. So they go through a multi-year battle. They finally get their new car on the track, and it wins the first big race, and it wins the next race. That is a story of innovation and a story of trailblazing and maverick activity for all of us.
Do you really think the frogs are gay?
Well, that's an Alex Jones, is an authority moment right there. and no, listen, that was me like 12, 13 years ago. I saw a report and a big scientific study out of California where the atrazine was turning the majority of these frogs basically gay because they didn't want to have sex with females. They tried to have sex with males, and then so their numbers were plummeting. Then I saw other studies out of South Africa, you name it. And so it was just described as it made them attracted to males. And so they were dying. So I said, look, I'm not against gay people. I just don't want to put chemicals in the water.
I love how you feel the need to preface it. By the way, no one would have assumed that you were against gay people. You were saying the Thorazine is making frogs gay. They would have been like, oh, all right, fine. But like, look, I do not despise gay people. I don't find them gross. They don't give me the heebie-jeebies, but... People are like, oh, he doesn't like.
But I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay.
Yes,
because it does a lot of other bad things to all of us, and it's just screwing everybody up. And there's a lot of chemicals in the food and water. And as we expose that, they remove them. Like 20 years ago, I was talking about bisphenol A in products. Everybody thought it was a kook. That was in major studies. Then about 10 years later, you try to go to Target or anywhere, and it says no bisphenol A in this product. So there's a lot of chemicals that are gender bending, and a lot of the sperm count dropping and issues we have is with a frog, it totally fries them.
Yeah.
With a human, it confuses them. And so that is where a lot of this sexual...
No, that's exact. I mean, it happens a lot. Now, women say, don't worry, BPA happens to lots of guys.
So ran a stinger.
Testosterone's down, sperm counts are down.
Testosterone is down. Yeah, testosterone is down significantly. But you know where testosterone is up? This is our first story. Is the Donald Trump, which we'll be covering live, by the way. Donald Trump indictment. This, obviously, right now, the indictment watch is still in full effect. So there's not been any indictment or arrest. But the media, of course, has been talking about this absolutely. Gerald,
They're going absolutely nuts over this. This is their Christmas.
Yes, it absolutely is. Ignore the banks, ignore what's going on, because this is what we need to talk about.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is considering whether to charge Trump with falsifying documents in connection with the hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. Republicans accuse Bragg of playing politics.
He's a character
No matter whether
actress.
there's an indictment or not. All the noise around this, all the scrutiny, all the
He can't even
bloodlust,
look. His
all
hands
the
are in
gotcha
grope
game
position.
is why we don't have better people to pick from in our politics. Now, I'm not making a judgment. Oh, so you're saying it's too high a bar to not pay off a porn star? I'm not judging it, but I'm saying this obsession with personal lives, with prosecuting our political opponents, I'm not saying it's not a good case, but I'm saying it sends a message.
The circumstances
I think that's actually fair what he was saying.
It was, yeah,
US
surprisingly.
president or ex-president has never in history been indicted for a crime, and that's exactly what hangs in the balance
Never
here.
trust a man who has to talk with it. Like, I understand men talk with their hands like Italians, but Donald Trump like this, but Cuomo goes, we don't need to.
He's like the guy that was trying to cover the accent. He's trying to cover his hand move. He's like,
Yeah.
we don't need to. Oh, God, I
know. Look, it runs in the family. What did he say? He said, I'm Italian. Yeah, that's an excuse for being a rapist. Allegedly. So.
Don't be mean to Fredo.
No. Hey, that's an insult to your people. It's not.
Not at all.
It's not at all. That's not an insult. It's an insult to you. It's an insult to you, you fake steroid-taking rube.
By the way, he went in a little bit too hard on the, dang it.
Intern?
No, he came to the defense too harshly for the paying off prostitutes. I'm not condemning paying off prostitutes or paying off sex. I'm like, is it because you've done it?
Yeah, exactly. He's like saying, look, who among us has not paid off a middling character actress pornography star and, of course, groped interns, right? Let he who has not cast the first stone just gets pelted with rocks. Ah, shit! So an indictment may be coming, obviously, today as, a Manhattan grand jury hears the evidence. Okay. And while we're talking about this, the security concerns, obviously, during a possible arraignment, Trump is alleged to have told various allies from The Guardian over the weekend that he didn't care if someone shot him, he would become a martyr.
Aww.
I don't. There's so much crap that we have no idea.
He wants to be shown in handcuffs as well.
Yeah, he did.
So this is definitely boosting him over DeSantis. It's boosting him just across the board. And I think they're still going to go ahead with the indictment. But I love how the media spun it like Trump's making it up. He's going to be indicted, but it's great. We want him indicted.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like no, there's no indictment coming. But now that you mention it. I mean, come on. Look,
They told the Secret Service last week, get ready for next week. We're going to indict him. They're putting up the barricades. Now they're having a little bit of cold feet. Maybe they back off because, again, it's never been done before. I mean, if you're going to charge a president, you better find him with a dead kid in their trunk or something. Not.
Yes.
7 years ago, statute of limitations is over. You have this idiot Soros, creature up there doing all this. It's not good.
I don't think he's an idiot, though, Soros. I think it's far more.
No, he's talking about the creature.
His little minion.
No, but I totally agree with you. But I mean, just imagine what happens if they actually do this. And I think it'll probably still happen. What do you think?
Well, we'll be covering it as it breaks. I think there's, I would say 60-40 that he gets indicted. Yeah. And I think, though, they're probably, knowing what we know now, they're probably going to try and keep it quiet. So you guys comment below. And by the way, smash the Rumble button if you're on Rumble, because actually the algorithms on Rumble work. And head on over to Rumble if you're on YouTube. Please, we'll be talking about this more. There's a mass exodus taking place. You are the tip of the spear. I want to see that YouTube number go down to 0 like Ed Rooney's attendance number. I don't remember YouTube having 9 viewers. And it's a free month. Mug Club. LightOfCarter.com/Mug Club. It's what keeps all of this going. So that's what I think. I think they want to keep it quiet. I think they want to do it to damage him legally and sort of hamper him with more baggage going into the election. But I think that they don't want it to be a public spectacle.
Well, that was my next question. What were they thinking? Of course it was going to be a spectacle. Now it's blown in their face. Yeah. That shows you this current elite we have, if even they're going to be corrupt, at least be smart about it. They're just so dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, everything they do.
But Donald Trump is also, he understands how to use the media for this, right? If you're in a situation like this where you have representation, your legal counsel is working with these people, basically you just decide on a time and place to surrender. That's not a media event, right? Maybe they get
but he made it one.
Walk in. But here's what he's going to do. I would bet every single dollar that I have that he goes, come and get me.
Yeah.
He's like, come arrest me.
Over here, you big horse's ass.
Yeah.
I'm calling the other cops. You better come out and stop me.
That's exactly what I think he's going to do. By the way, the free month, there is no promo code for the free month.
Oh, yes, for Rumble. There's no promo code. It's just
Stop
free.
Stop asking about it. It's free.
It's free. It's all free. Yeah. Like Oprah with a van under your chair. So, look, let's get into this. Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. And I want to know what you guys think, genuinely. You are a very large focus group. We have a huge sample size.
Yeah.
A lot of you are pro-DeSantis. A lot of you are pro-Trump. I want to see if that's flipped a little bit. And how do you feel about these two warring as they are? So barring President Trump being put in actual prison, it obviously seems right now, and there can always be a surprise, an October surprise, or well before that in the primaries, nomination is probably going to be him and Ron DeSantis. So let's look at some of, I guess, the sort of pros and cons with both of them. This coming now, is it Piers Morgan?
Yeah, Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan interviewed Governor DeSantis, and some headlines were made. This was yesterday when they discussed the rivalry with Trump. Is this a clip of DeSantis on Morgan?
I believe so. Yes.
That's right. Okay, because we have the other clip later of him sort of, a little bit of a jab at Trump. But this whole interview hasn't been released because Piers Morgan really needs to tease in order to generate some traffic. So let's watch what we have.
What is your favourite nickname that Trump's given you so far? Is it Ron the Sanctimonious or Meatball Ron?
Well, I can't.
I think even he went off Meatball Ron.
I can't. I don't know how to spell the Sanctimonious. I don't really know what it means, but I kind of like. It's long. It's got a lot of vowels. I mean, so we go with that. That's fine. You can call me whatever you want. I mean, just as long as you also call me a winner.
Okay. I don't like it.
No?
No.
What do you think he should have come out firing or what?
I thought he should just don't call me late for supper. Something like that. Now, as long as you call me a winner. It's like, well, first off, your voice needs to go down. Alex, take notes from Alex Jones. He was like, as long as you call me a winner, you gay frog.
But I did confront one of your lawyers yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll get into that probably
that.
Not paywall, but the free wall this month with Mug Club. See, I keep screwing up the terminology.
Well.
So in the interview, which is going to be airing Thursday, Governor DeSantis said that he thought he could win the presidency. Yeah. He said, if I were to run, I'm running against Biden, like him and Trump are competing for the Republican, potentially. I get that. But ultimately, the guy I'm going to focus on is Biden because I think he's failed the country. And then when he was asked if he thought he could beat Biden, DeSantis just said, I think so.
But he said it matter of fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and
he said,
he
I think so.
hasn't even technically declared his candidacy yet.
This is the stuff that bothers me. Is like, I'm not. Well, why are you in Iowa?
I know.
Why are you in Iowa? Oh, I just came to the site. See, look, there's some corn and there's some more corn.
There's a butter cow.
Yeah.
Well, I got the pros and cons pretty simple here.
Well, hold on a second. We're going to get to that. We have to set it up first, and then we're going to have Alex knows things because we gave you a whole stinger, Alex.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I'm jumping the gun again.
No. We have a stinger for you because I want Alex.
Walk into walls and stuff.
I want Alex to be Alex. We're like, look, Alex, we're going to give you a wide open and a stinger. So, according, by the way, to Morgan, DeSantis attacked Trump's character and leadership style. And you already see this kind of happening, right?
Yeah.
On Monday, DeSantis, he took his first kind of little bit of a jab at Donald Trump. But then I do want to read for you, before we get into the pros and cons, the hilarious Trump response. Which is why the largest part of me as a host of a show really wants it to be Trump. But here is DeSantis' first sort of shot over the bow.
You're talking about this situation and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that.
You can guess.
Oh, damn!
But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda.
So I actually think that's obviously what he was doing there was trying to highlight something in a character indictment, but his other response was relevant. Yeah. Of course, Donald Trump responded as he would. And this is what he posted on Truth Social.
DeSantis is weak.
Well, what he said is, all right, I'm going to try and my voice will shut. I got that red tide. Yeah. He said, Rod DeSanctimonious will probably find out about false accusations and fake stories sometime in the future. I was like, sometime in the future, folks. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say when. I would never say when. Other people say the future. Maybe they have a DeLorean. I don't know. Could be lightning. Maybe it's a Freaky Friday situation. People swap bodies in the future. Then they say, what? Oh, it's 2026. I don't know. Sometime in the future, as he gets older, wiser, better known, when he's unfairly and illegally attacked by a woman, even classmates that are, quote, underage, or possibly a man, folks. I'm sure he will want to fight these misfits just like I do. Now, here's the thing.
I totally missed that part. I totally missed the and better known. That subtle dig.
And better known. I will tell you this, and by the way, all references are available at louderwithcrowder.com. We always make them available, and we have researchers working on this. We search far and wide. As far as alleged future rumors regarding Ron DeSantis with underage classmates or possibly a man.
Exclamation point.
What is he foreshadowing here?
We couldn't find any basis for these rumors other than this picture, which the left tried to make hay about. Ron DeSantis, which they said with underage girls, but he looks really young there.
Yeah,
I'm like, they don't. It doesn't look like he's a 40-year-old with six, or a 70-year-old with 6-year-olds like Biden. It looks like maybe he's 25 with like 20-year-olds, which I don't know. Maybe is a little weird. Maybe it's a little Matthew McConaughey, dazed and confused. I get older, they stay the same age, but it doesn't mean that he's a pervert. So we couldn't find. If there's something, please let us know. I could find zero basis for Donald Trump's Truth Social post, which is why it's hilarious.
Yeah, but go back to that video on Ron DeSantis. Don't actually play it up. But he actually did something that Trump always does that we love about him, where he's like, somebody told me, or people say, and it's like, nobody says this. Yes. He goes, I wouldn't know what it's like to have to pay hush money. I have no idea. I can't speak to that. He just throwing that little jab out there was like, oh, okay.
I'm surprised that Donald Trump didn't say, that's because no porn star would touch your pecker with a 10-foot pole.
If it ever comes out, by the way, that happened and it's 100%, it'd be like, she's the best porn star ever.
Yeah, ever. He'll lean into it.
Absolutely.
So what do you think the pros and the cons are of the candidates? Let me list you mine, Gerald, and then we've got Alex. Alex, is it Alex knows? We have his whole stinger.
The truth according to
Alex. But we'll because I want Alex to be able to hit everything he wants to say. I think there are some pros here with Donald Trump, okay? He will take the fight to anyone, anywhere. I think that's something that we know about Donald Trump. He was also probably the most effective president during my lifetime. Doesn't mean everything. But as far as when you compare him to George W. Bush, when you compare him to George Bush Sr., when we're talking about Republicans in my lifetime, he certainly got some stuff done. Not everything. The cons, he'll often fight people and wage wars that he doesn't need to. He doesn't pick his spots, and he often maybe seems like he'll place his personal grudges over issues, sometimes at the cost of an issue that would be winning for him. DeSantis, what do I like? He's followed through on his promises as governor, mostly speaking. You talk about woke education, you talk about Disney. He's the only conservative outside of Donald Trump that I know of who I think has been taking the fight to the media, actively calling them out outside of Donald Trump. They both do that. The cons with DeSantis, and I know this is a common knock, but I will tell you, it does worry me when he's not independently wealthy.
Yeah.
And so he is going to be relying on, I'm not saying they're pulling the strings, certainly not yet, but he will be relying on other donors, which always comes with some strings attached. And he doesn't have any experience doing this job exactly. But neither did Trump when he became president. President Trump didn't have it when he became. So those are what I would say the pros and cons of each, Gerald.
So I would say, let me give you the pro of DeSantis. There's actually two things. One, I think he's a little bit more polished than Donald Trump is. And so if he can develop that part of his game like he did there, where he said, I don't know what it's like. If he can do a little bit more of that, more polish, I think that's fantastic. And two, he does very well with independents, better than Donald Trump does, right? In a general election, they're forecasting he would do much better. But if you look at what he did in the state of Florida, when we covered the midterm elections, he killed it with independents. Right. So if he can take that nationally, that's a very, very good game plan.
Nationally, he doesn't do as well with people of color.
Well, yeah. So Donald Trump has
voters
the
of the color.
So that's the pro. The pro for Donald Trump, he does very well nationally with people of color, and that's going to be a huge voting block. We talked about that yesterday.
The blacks.
He'll take it to the media in all new ways, but the problem with Donald Trump is that he probably brings too much baggage into a general.
Yeah.
Right. There's too many people that would suit up to fight against him. Ron DeSantis doesn't inspire people to fight against him quite the same way. So.
Right. But he also doesn't inspire people to fight for him.
True. That's true.
Quite the same way. And of course, I'm sure someone has very, very lengthy opinions on this. It's time for Alex Jones. Well, whatever. Hit the stick.
The Truth According.
I'm kind of retarded.
I don't know why they added that at the end.
I like it. I meant it to be a joke. It's like Socrates said, I know that I know nothing.
Well, you know what it is? If you use what the left tries to use against you, if you use it it inoculates you.
Well, I 100% said that on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
It was hilarious. I am kind of retarded. I walked into your wall yesterday.
Thus proving you're not deity.
I mean, we're all kind of retarded.
Yeah, I love it. It's just like,
it is obviously a joke, but I do have a room temperature IQ. I wear a leather helmet, but it's a joke.
Well, I told you guys today, maybe I should host a show with a helmet on.
Yeah, I know. We just didn't have one that would fit that melon.
There's Billy. We were supposed to wear wigs today, too.
We weren't. You must have. Did you dream that?
Oh, no, that was the contest, the beauty contest.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, you said that, and then we promptly said no. So, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, where do you line up? What do you think the pros and cons are of each? Because you were obviously very big on Trump early on, and then you've had some qualms with him. But we do with that. You do with everybody. You're fair.
I think what you and Gerald said really mixed together is the whole field of the issue. Mm-hmm. DeSantis is very, very polished. They won't be able to manipulate him as much. But I like how Trump takes it to the deep state. I love how much the establishment hates him. But what Gerald said, Trump polarizes things and gets the left to commit crimes and do things they would never have done before. Even in mid-election,
people who didn't know about the Hunter Biden laptop story, that would have changed the election.
They admit it. Exactly. So without wading into the machines and all that, I think that's a red herring. But what I was getting at is...
You don't think Mike Lindell's spot on?
Not about the... was a satellite that grabbed it all with the Chinese, and we got it all.
Yours is like a retarded. Yours like a retarded Randy Savage. Like kind of retarded. Oh yeah.
That's right. I can't do him as good as you.
No, it's pretty good though. No, so here's that's kind of an.
What if he turned into Randy Savage? Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm coming for you, Biden.
Oh, you're gonna take. I'm gonna suffocate. You're gonna wake up and see my perfect pillow right above your face.
You're gonna order that pillow right now, or I'm gonna break your back. Oh yeah. No, but seriously, what I'm trying to get at is this. On Trump, clearly they hate him, they're scared of him, they've tried to destroy him. He's come back so much, you want to see him get in there, but then it kind of feels like we're playing with chaos.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'd like to see what DeSantis do, but I lean more towards Trump because of this. DeSantis being endorsed by Jeb Bush. DeSantis saying his greatest idol is George Herbert Walker Bush, father of the modern New World Order. DeSantis being the darling of the
I want to pause you 1 second here, just because I think that second part was very important. When he was endorsed by Jeb Bush, I was like, well, whatever. Jeb Bush can endorse whoever he wants. When that quote you're talking about with George H.W. Bush, that's far more concerning because that's Ron DeSantis saying these are examples.
Absolutely, because you can say, well, he's not really Skull and Bones. He was in another secret society at Yale, fine. But then when you pull back and he's like, no, I admire most George Herbert Walker Bush.
Gross.
I mean, that's like Rockefeller Republican. That's a Democrat who became president. And then we basically got Clinton and then Obama and W before that. All of it out of that CIA whole dynasty.
Right,
so I see that most troubling. Also, he's not been as anti-war as Trump has been. Mm-hmm. And so I think Trump right now is in the lead with me because he's anti-war and because the establishment doesn't like him. But at the same time, I don't like the worship of Trump. I don't like his kids. I mean, I like Don Jr., but I don't like the Kushner and the daughter and just, and then all the Q people thinking Trump's invincible and worshiping him.
Yeah.
So there's a certain...
You don't like the NFTs.
But none of us have a problem with Barron.
No.
Yeah, Barron's good.
Fantastic.
And look, I'm not knocking the Trump family. I don't want royalty.
Right.
I mean, I remember just 3 years ago, they were bragging, and the kids were bragging, not Don, but the other ones about how we're going to be a dynasty and we're new royalty. And I'm like throwing up.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to get rid of the globalist royalty and replace it with some new, royalty. Okay, I want my republic back. And if Trump wants to secure the border, secure the dollar, bring jobs back, put fentanyl dealers, on death row. I mean, if Trump wants to do that, that's great. And stop the censors. That's another thing. Trump sat there, and I briefed him, other people briefed him, about how they were censoring, how it was big tech, how it was intelligence agencies, the money Obama put in January 2021, January 2017 before he left.
Yeah.
into the Defense Authorization Act, in the rebuild, and it's all in there. It's all in that act, the Countering Foreign Disinformation Propaganda Act, and that's how they declared the American people as terrorists and as enemies and had this illegal government operation surveil and spy and censor. Okay, so for me, it's much bigger than the First Amendment. It's that whole program. And Trump sat there and let that happen.
He didn't do enough.
That's why I'm angry at him.
Yeah.
Well, because he never thought, I won't get censored. I don't really need my fans.
Well, so
I
who
won't
do you
get
think?
censored.
Who do you think? So, I agree with you, right? It comes down to, okay, we have really two questions here: who is the best person for the job in the current state of affairs? But really, it does come down to who does better in the general.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big concern because if Trump, for some reason, can't
I don't agree.
win the general,
I don't agree. I understand what you're saying as far as winning the general, but I also understand where Alex is. It's far more concerning to me that we get someone who wins a general who's a puppet. You know, I think what the point, if you're going to lose big.
But I just don't think Ron DeSantis is that puppet. He's not perfect.
No, I'm not saying that either.
In Florida, he's done a good job. So if he continues doing that, I would rather have him with a chance to win. That's a big if for some reason Trump is projected it comes back to Hillary Clinton. Like he was projected not even to come close to beating her.
I'm going to throw.
So I get that. But if we look at it and go, gosh, it's going to be really hard. I would hate for Biden or somebody like whoever else they throw up there to have just a
well, you know, by the way, Biden has degenerated so much.
I know
that now he can't even talk.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there's a new video.
He can still sniff though.
His family.
All right. Well, we have so much else to get to, but you know, you guys comment below DeSantis, Donald Trump, and by the way, if you're on YouTube, head on over to Rumble. Do hit the like, all that stuff on YouTube just to help us because that helps with the algorithm. But head on over to Rumble. It's free all month. We have a bunch that we are going to be discussing today that we could absolutely never discuss on YouTube, but you get to watch for free. This has been The Truth According to Alex.
I'm kind of retarded.
Now, I do have to hit this. We have some breaking news here. I don't know if you know this. There's been a seaweed blob twice the width of the United States.
Oh, wow.
Currently floating toward the Florida coast. It's been covered all over the news. Just so you know, nothing up our sleeves. CNN has been all over this.
Professor Schauman, who is one of the leading experts on what many have referred to as a massive blob of seaweed heading to Florida's coast.
Fair to call it a blob?
Nope. Did he say no?
That's reporting. That right there. Fair to call it a blob?
Nope. Good enough for me. Back
By the
to
way,
you,
these
Anderson.
blobs of seaweed this time of year always do this.
Yeah, I know, but it still is concerning. The world is going to end, Alex. Let's not. Play it
AOC's
down.
right.
Yeah, the world is ending. It's a 5,000-mile wide blob. It's made of a specific type of seaweed called sargassum or sargassum. I don't care. You can comment below and correct me. Scientists obviously have been saying that this could be the largest bloom ever. So we have the exclusive. Thank you for signing up and supporting Mug Club. That allows us to get boots on the ground. We now go to on-the-ground reporter Thomas Finnegan. All right. Do we have him there? Mr. Finnegan.
Hi, Stephen. Thanks for having me. Well, the seaweed is in the water, and it is getting closer to the beach with every passing minute.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Do you have any more information, insight, that would legitimize me sending you out there with our budget to the beach?
Not yet, but give me some time because this is a developing problem, and I'm keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, well, it seems that okay. I guess then we'll check back in with you.
I think I see a crab. Do they bite?
I don't think they do, but I have no idea. I'm not a marine biologist. Good luck with that, Thomas Finnegan. Have a good reporting season. Thank you.
It's getting closer.
All right, head on over to Rumble. Mug Club is free, and of course, do not go to MadMaxWorld.tv, where Alex Jones will not be streaming at noon, 11 Eastern. This is something that I really did want to talk about. We'll talk about the massive YouTube exodus that's taking place, and we're incredibly grateful for you because this is an inflection moment in history. But before that, you know, culture at large, we've talked about this, and Alex, you're a little bit older than I am. I mean, we're all kind of in different age demographics. Yeah. I will say this. The United States has never been more racist or racially divided than today. And I don't mean because white people are being more racist than ever. I mean the perception of racism has never been more intense in my lifetime than today. So that's what I want to use this as a jumping off point. This went viral yesterday where there was a couple with their child being confronted by a very aggressive racist, which brings us to, well, first, our New York state of crime. Okay, if you have kids, they should leave the room because it's a pretty rough video to watch, but everyone else is talking about it, and then I'd like to use it as a jumping off point to discuss kind of some changes that you may not be aware of culturally that have taken place that have racially divided you. And hey, you know what? Alex Jones was right. It's by design. So get your kids out of the room just because it's a little bit disturbing. 5, 4, 3, 2, roll clip.
Take them back to Europe with y'all. Yeah, me too. Caribbean, African, gay ass gorilla looking. Shut up, your ugly body. Nasty ass, mutating, permutating, corrugating, skin. Shut up, your body don't even last long enough. I'm gonna look younger than him by the time he's my age. I don't care about them ugly ass kids in your race. Shut up. Plastic ass body. 86. Little debilitated, innervated, emasculated people, incapacitated, indisposed, emaciating, attenuating, tenuous body. I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey.
Must have watched Congo.
Dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm Black American. I'm over you.
Now, do you know how you know this is a problem and how the media will cover it? That I tell you that man is completely inarticulate, has no mastery of the English language, and made up words. They'll say, well, what, that's racist? No, I'm talking about that asshole right there. And he did. He called somebody a white monkey. Again, Ron Perlman, it would fit. That guy doesn't really look like a white monkey if the shoe were on the other foot. Not saying you should ever go out and call racial minorities or people of color, voters of color, monkeys. Of course you shouldn't. Neither should he. He made up words trying to sound articulate. And this is one thing that you guys need to know, okay? Having spent a lot of time, and we talked about this with the Hodge twins, if you go back and watch an old episode. Someone one time, let me tell you this story. Someone one time tried to steal my, I guess, dog Jack. Back in the day, Hopper, before Joe Louis. It was in Oklahoma, stopping at the Choctaw Casino to fill up on gas. Had driven across the country. Get out, and he goes, "Hey, man, that's my dog." I said, "No, this is his name's Hopper. He's from Detroit. He's a rescue." He goes, "Man, that's my dog. You better give me my dog back. I know what it is. It's a Doggo Argentino. That's my dog." And I put him in my car, and I walked out, and I said, "No, he's not. I don't know what your problem is." He said, "That ain't even my dog, though." And he walked away. And the Hodge twins told me, they said, yeah. They said, it's something that we were taught to do young. They said, we call it white boy punkin'. we take the Sega Genesis and shit, take it all. They talked about how often a lot of young black men are taught that white men are passive and weak. And I saw this at the mall this week. I saw a group of black women who were boisterous, I should say, and largely clothless. And they bumped a few people. Right? They just bumped into a few people. And I watched another black gentleman with his wife. He was kind of bumped, and he just said, like, "Hey, watch where you're going." He said this to the black lady. Yeah. That same black lady was still on her phone, bumped a white woman who was wearing a little, one of those little, like, kind of patchouli looking, looks like she would wear patchouli, but a beanie. And she went, and spoke to her husband, like, I guess because I need to check my privilege. Guess what? We can't have a society that has one group of people believing that other people are weak and easily intimidated. Therefore, you should do it to right the wrongs of the past. And let me give you some more examples here. The media is rolling it. I don't know if you remember when Elon Musk, by the way, actually African-American, made news with this tweet where he said that the media is racist. For a very long time, U.S. media was racist against non-white people. Now they're racist against whites and Asians. Same thing has happened with elite colleges and high schools in America. Maybe they can try not being racist. Let's compare how the very same media covered the tweet. Everything he just said there, by the way, is factually verifiable. Asians at elite colleges, high schools in America. That is a fact. There are lawsuits that are being won. The media covered African-American Elon Musk's tweet with this. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter, accused the media and elite colleges and high schools of being, quote, racist against white and Asian people, espousing his views without providing evidence on Sunday. Where could he have possibly pulled that stat, assholes? And by the way, I don't know if you saw this. Remember the Rasmussen poll? They asked people, black people, if it's okay to be white. Only 53% of blacks agreed. 47% of black Americans, people of color, weren't sure. That is incredibly disconcerting. That means that there's a 50-50 shot when you're walking down the streets right now. If you see a black American, there's a 50-50 shot that they don't know if they think you have the right to exist.
And that's what Scott Adams got into.
Yeah.
I'd like to comment on that. Look, people need to know the roots of this. So back when it was okay to be racist against black people 100 years ago, there was like 1 million KKK members, and they had giant marches in D.C. And by the 70s, there was, maybe 20,000 of them, and everybody dislikes them. The corporate media and the universities and everything on record to divide the country and, to basically bring the country down, know that the country's going to be a majority non-white, and so whether they're Latin American or whether they're people that are already here that are black that are Americans, the universities, the culture is teaching them, you've been screwed over, you've been wrong by this group of people.
Yeah.
And so literally it's the most racist thing on earth, the opposite of what Martin Luther King said that was totally true. Judge people by what they do, what they create, what they stand for, and that's what we should be doing. But instead, no one is calling out the white leftists that are teaching this, the Hollywood, the media that promotes it, and then you're going to have a large minority of black people, a minority of that minority who are going to buy into this because they see it in the media. They believe it's normal. Now, when I see this Rasmussen poll, I don't believe that actual number. That's how they pitch it. That's how they skew it. But what it is white people will tell you they've done polls. Is it okay to be white? And they say, no, you can't wear that shirt. In fact, I've seen similar numbers where the majority or close to it of white people won't say that. Or if you try to sell that shirt on a lot of shopping cart platforms, they'll take your thing away.
Wait, which shirt? A white shirt?
No, it's okay to be white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is I think that's black people with the political correctness. Some of them are racist. Some of them have drunk the Kool-Aid and been brainwashed. But most of them are just like the white people bowing down to Black Lives Matter. They believe it's the right thing to say. Well, maybe it isn't good to be white.
It's a bully pulpit, and people are intimidated. And let me give you some stats here just so you know how it has flipped, like Alex is talking about.
Yeah.
And they've been successful with a lot of this. So in 2012, most people viewed race relations in America as positive. Black Americans viewing them as 66%, white Americans 72%. By 2015, that's 3 years, the percentage had declined sharply. So we went from 66 with black Americans down to 51%.
And that was Obama and the corporate
But hold on, let me finish. It went even lower. With white Americans, it went from 72 to 45%. 72% viewed race relations favorably, down to 45%. Yes, like you said.
In fact, I interrupted. Maybe show the graphics again. I'm wrong. Go show them.
No, you're right.
Those are important. Show them again.
But those are important so people can see the contrast, right? Black Americans went from 66 favorable to 51, which means not as sharp of a decline, which means that black Americans aren't buying the bullshit from the media as much as white Americans are, 72 down to 45. That's the problem. And so white Americans become passive and they become intimidated. And you know what the worst thing is if you actually want to interact on a day-to-day basis with black Americans and be able to have a friendly relation, is to not be intimidated, passive. You know what black men don't respect? Pussies. That's the truth. Culturally,
well, I don't think anybody likes that. I mean, look, that's what's happening. The left
but
literally wants everybody.
They don't even like eating it.
Look, it's very simple. George Soros, I agree. George Soros and the globalists have put billions of dollars into Black Lives Matter to take over any type of black movements, to simply put a black face on the globalist agenda and then tell everybody else, bow down to our agenda or you're racist. And it's not even a black agenda, but there are black people that are buying into the fact that whites are inherently bad and getting in their face. And when people do that, people need to get back in their face and let them know that's not okay.
Well, here's something, too, that when I was raised, I was raised in Canada, which is a silly place. But it was basically a post-racial America, Canada. Canada's like America Light, right? But then I noticed later on you would have kids trying to identify with the American ghetto. Like, for example, Drake is a buttersoft bitch from a nice, wealthy area of Toronto. He played the Jewish kid on Degrassi who couldn't outrun the school shooter, and he had to wheel around like Stephen Hawking without the mouthpiece, and now he's talking like he's from Memphis. So there's a lot of there's this desire to be a part of a culture that, by the way, isn't necessarily indicative of actual black American culture. Oh, you're a white guy talking about this. Well, you know what? Don't take my word for it. Again, all references available at louderwithcrowder.com. Hey, when we were young, and even before that, you had the Jeffersons that went on for a very long time, right? But the Cosby Show, before he raped, like 95 people allegedly.
But we just didn't know.
The process had started, but we didn't know.
Right. Yeah.
Peak viewership, and I had to double check this, was at 62 million per episode. It was the number one show in America for 5 seasons. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reached a peak viewership of 20 million per episode. It turned Will Smith into a movie star, right? Empire, though, now we fractured where everything, now it's white people watch this, and we create content for black people. It used to be, hey, everyone can watch the
Cosby Show. And now colleges are bringing segregation back.
Yes, but Empire, 17 million. Then it dropped to 2.9 million viewers for the season
finale. And then Jussie
finale.
Smollett tried to get the ratings back up.
Think about it. We were a country that was so racist that our number one show was The Cosby Show. The number one show that we would watch would be The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And Family Matters, you skipped over Step by Step. No one's a Patrick Duffy fan, you saved it for Urkel.
And what did this? The globalist social engineers, it's all documented, literally put Obama in. He did get elected, very popular. People thought it was the promise of us all coming together. Instead, he creates major racial division. Hollywood produces all the movies.
Yep.
They opened all these wounds up to culturally control us now, and that's their agenda. The good news, as you said, is minorities more and more are actually rejecting it and going with people like Trump, but it is mainly white women, and I'm not attacking white people, but it's just true. It is white women, on average, who are the leftists, who are driving this cult. And so it's not about kissing black people's ass. The left claims that's what they want. No, it's about we own the black people. We own representing them. Do what we say or you're racist.
Right.
We have to reject this. It's ridiculous.
And to be clear, that's the media saying we own, just to be clear.
Right.
Someone's going to take a quote of, we own black people, and they're going to try and use that.
No, I'm saying the left thinks they own.
No.
I mean, remember what
I'm
what
just
Biden
trying to
said?
save you from the out of
remember
context.
Remember what Biden said?
Yes.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah.
From some weird, crazy pro-KKK guy?
Yeah, I know.
I'd be like, shut the hell up. Like, if you don't vote for me, you're not an American. I would immediately, if somebody told me, if you don't vote for me, you're not white, I'd be like, why are you even making it racial?
Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense.
These people, all they do is obsessed with race because it's a dying, out-of-control elite that's falling apart. The Democratic Party, the party of the KKK, the party of Jim Crow, the party of racial division, the party of collapsing cities, the party of fraud and evil.
Absolutely, always. And they try and tell you, oh, the party switched. No, they didn't. Go do a little bit of actual research on Strom Thurmond, your only example. But I do agree with what he said about white women. Bitches ain't but hoes and tricks. What were we about to say there?
I was going to say, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, right, we've talked about this. We were watching this. Like, it was never a thing. I was very, very low income. And so I had a very mixed school. I had a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Asians, a lot of blacks. All of us, we were fine.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of these problems.
They want you to believe that, again, it's a lie that you can't disprove. They go, you were fine. Well, no, the stats show that more black people thought they were fine. They say you're white. It's easy for you to say you're
let's
fine.
say this. There were some problems because I grew up in Dallas.
Of course.
But
so did I.
But let's be clear. It's a lot worse now, and the numbers show
it's far, far worse.
I was just watching the very first episode the other day of Sesame Street, and I actually want to show you a comparison of then, where nobody even thought twice, of people of all different races, where it didn't come up, hanging out with each other, and it was supposed to be a friendly street. Big Bird's head's a little bit weird. This is 1969, and then we'll compare it to now.
Sally, you've never seen a street like Sesame Street. Everything happens here. You're going to love it. They're playing games. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Say hello to Sally. She just moved into the neighborhood.
Hi, Sally. How
That's
are you?
Bob.
Nice to see you.
And
Greetings, my friend.
That's
I'm
Mr. Hooper.
Oh, Mr. Hooper. Here's a dime for your paper. Thank you.
Okay. Come here, Mr. Hooper. Come here. Say hello to Sally.
Hello, Sally.
Sally's new. She just moved into the neighborhood.
Welcome, new Sally.
All right, that's enough.
Mr. Hooper.
Mr. Hooper he's kind of a dick. That is a child. You don't have to be so cold. Hello. Welcome, Sally. Come on, Mr. Hooper. Put a little bit of effort into it. Let's compare it to Sesame Street explaining race. And by the way, that's so important because people don't realize it was passive because it was real. People just wanted to put the racial tensions to bed. We're not perfect, but the way to move on.
But now they want to totally screw these kids up.
Well, here you go. Here's them comparing. Well, let's compare it to them explaining race now.
If we all have melanin, why are we different colors? Like, why is Mr. Elijah's skin a darker brown than Russell's skin?
Oh, that's a good question, Amo. Well, it's because the more melanin you have, the darker your skin looks. The color of our skin is an important part of who we are.
Yeah, and then Nick Cannon guessed it and said, because if you don't have enough melanin, you got no soul.
Well, that is true about redheads.
Or ass.
I love redheads, by the way.
You love all heads.
By the way, I want to say something.
You're like the Jesus Christ of ladies. Red and yellow, black and white, they're all sexy.
I don't believe we cover monkeys or apes, but humans are all of us somewhat look a little bit simian. And I don't look like a monkey. I kind of look like a gorilla. And I even kind of walk like one of you. Notice so.
Sometimes you do. But that's because you swam a lot. I thought it was a lat spread from all the
because I've got no Achilles over here, and I'm a little overweight.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I kind of look like a penguin.
You know what your Achilles heel is?
Yes.
You love too much.
Aww.
I do.
You love too deeply. That's been New York State of Crime. All right. And by the way, smash the Rumble button, hit like if you're on YouTube, comment. Please, if you are watching on YouTube, head on over to Rumble. We have a whole segment today about Philadelphia and reparations that we cannot. I don't know how many dump buttons have been hit today, but it's quite a bit.
I'm also going to get into some stuff that is super secret that YouTube does not want you to know. So you definitely need to go over on Rumble right now, where it's free, no promo code, free for the next month, and share the link right now. Do it right now. Or the comments.
I feel like he should be emceeing Def Comedy Jam. Like, y'all ready for your next act? It's funny as shit.
He's like, that boy good.
Yeah. I should be Steve apostrophe Venn. That would be a good name. So, look, here's one thing, and this is, I don't want to, we always try and avoid sort of tooting our own horn, but this is something, this is you. And I want you to take this as a victory lap. Gerald, CEO now, has told me that it's important to celebrate the wins.
It is.
I'm kind of a hermit. I'm kind of reclusive. I've always sort of come up under the stoic mindset of, the work should be its own reward. But you guys have made this possible. So let me explain to you as we went to Rumble a little bit what we expected coming back. Right. And obviously there were contractual issues and it kept us from coming back, and we were working this entire time. But we all expected, as we were transitioning here, we're talking about YouTube and Rumble, we all expected to see a temporary dip in viewership as we diversified it. I'm talking like the guy on the subway. As we diversified it, we mymersified it, and then I'm about to craft-versified it. What? What are you saying? Shut up, white devil! So, we all expected to see a temporary dip in viewership as we diversified and migrated you toward Rumble. Meaning, we all know that Rumble has a much smaller user base than YouTube. Everyone knows that. That's not an insult to them. And we were willing to sacrifice some short-term gain in order to achieve the long-term goal of divesting, uncoupling, whatever you want to call it, from YouTube. I don't think any of us here, I don't think anyone, correct me if I'm wrong, expected to see significantly greater viewership on Rumble than before we left at all.
Oh, yeah. People are sick of the big tech. They want to make the move. That's why your decision in working with Rumble is so good.
Did you expect that, Gerald?
I did not. When I saw it, I literally had the guys. I never do this, right? You were giving me a hard time for being on my phone. They were letting me know how many viewers we had, and I said, "Is that a typo?"
Yeah.
Like, is that a typo for live viewership? It's better than some of the very best live shows we've done on YouTube.
Right.
Not the streams, the live streams.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you guys have been right up there at the top, number one routinely. And I'm telling you, I've been there with Joe Rogan when there's 150,000 live things, and the show gets 30 million views. They're like ecstatic over that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, getting that on Rumble is crazy.
Well, it wasn't just the live views.
No, it's not just the live views. They've also, by the way, this is for users out there, they've fixed the sort of algorithm that determines the views, because it used to be lower than YouTube.
Yeah.
Because it didn't calculate the churn rate, which again, we're going to probably on Mug Club. Let's see how people are watching and what the poll says as far as how people are watching. But this kind of proves three things, and please just stick with me for a second because this has to do with you. Let's go back to then with some of our shows. There's been a flip. Okay? When I say flip, YouTube is the place that would generate viewers, and people would say, hey, you have to be on YouTube to generate new viewers. And I understand that. You want to reach the unreached. And then Rumble was the mirror for a lot of people. It was the safety, right? My first choice is Oxford and the Sorbonne, but my safety's Harvard. So Jordan Peterson versus Olivia Wilde was a show that we did. This is back September 7th, 2022. On YouTube, it did 1.4 million. On Rumble, it did 243,000. And by the way, none of these numbers include the audio or the Mug Club numbers.
Right.
These are just Rumble and YouTube. Okay. Then let's look at another show back then. Alex Jones on Kanye West, where we talked about that. Thank you for the traffic, by the way. On YouTube, it did close to 1,986,000. On Rumble, it did 514,000.
Wow.
Okay, so Rumble was always significantly lower.
But we see the trends upward.
Yes, so now here's the flip. And this is what's exciting for everybody out there, because I want to discuss this with you, content creators and people who are watching, okay, and why there's a vision here that we are genuinely amped up about.
It's a revolution for everybody.
It really is. It provides this for everybody. And he just can't. He's like, I gotta say it.
By the way, we didn't script this. I just
I know.
I'm saying this is important.
And this is. I also want to see you on.
They always say, go build your own thing. They'll never let anybody. Nobody's ever done it. You and Rumble, they're finally doing it.
Too many people on the right don't want to build their own thing. So this brings us back to we came back the Trump arrest. Okay, first episode back. YouTube 662,000. That's fine. Rumble 2.1 million. Yesterday's show on YouTube, 370,000. On Rumble, 1.6 million. So you're looking at shows that will be 3 million individual screens per show. This proves to us three things. Let me get into this here, and this is why this affects you directly, because I know a lot of you have been looking for a reason, right? A lot of you have been looking for a reason for a mass exodus. YouTube's engagement is less valuable. We now have contrast where we know that they haven't been honest. So on Rumble, by the way, the notifications work. You can actually find what you want if you're going through a channel. Nothing's perfect. And by the way, I would love for you to comment below what changes you would like to see on Rumble, because they are working incredibly fast. They have grown incredibly fast, but I'd like to see the changes that you most want. Pound for pound, though, if you are a creator out there, you can do far better on Rumble now than you could on YouTube. That wasn't true 6 months ago. Number two, I said did one, but number two. It shows that people, you are not alone. Remember, there are more of you than them. That's why they got rid of the dislike button. because it started showing up that, oh my God, people are going to realize that there's more of them if they look at every single Trump White House video, like to dislike, versus former Vice President pedophile Joe Biden. They got rid of it. There are more of you than them, and this proves that it shows that there are a lot of people like you out there who were just waiting for a reason, for an excuse to take part in the exodus from YouTube. And this is something that I suspected. While we were all told that we were wrong, the business model on the right was, look, you have to be on YouTube, period. You have to be monetized on YouTube. But let me explain why, and I'll get here to the third point, why there is this exodus taking place. Here's something that's important to note, okay? Truth Social is going to have a hard time. Anything that's trying to take over Facebook or Twitter is going to have, or let's say Instagram is going to have a hard time. Why? It's a social media site. There's a very big difference between a media site and social media. This is what's exciting about Rumble, and you're the tip of the spear with Mug Club, right? That's proof of product for a Rumble premium product. But media is different from social media. Why? People say, go over to Truth Social. Okay, but why are you on Facebook? Your uncle, you're there because all of your friends and family are there. And you go, well, I'm on Truth Social, I'm on one of these other places, but my family isn't there. But you are not on YouTube because you're interacting with your family. You are on YouTube because it is where the content resides that you want to watch. That's very different. This is why people go to content, let's say Netflix, HBO Max, YouTube as an example. People are there to watch content, not to hang out and socialize, and people are ready to leave YouTube. But, and this is a call to action out there, it depends on the content creators. It's just like when David Letterman went from NBC to CBS. People didn't say, well, I'm an NBC guy. They said, well, okay, I want to go watch David Letterman. So YouTube is there is a way to fracture this and for an exodus to take place. If we all keep fighting about it being absolutely perfect in the platform and the app, which you can download, look, bear with us, but the critical mass of users can easily leave YouTube, which can't happen with Facebook or Instagram.
And I think it's already happening. That's why I'm so excited about this. And you said it. Something that's been around 15 years or whatever, like Facebook, and has billions of users, it's falling apart, but still, that's where everybody's at. That's not the first domino to fall. It will be content creation platforms like Rumble or our smaller band.video. And once that diversifies, and once people go get their content from there, then out of those, you can then build the social networks and the new systems around those.
Right.
And I think you say we can hit critical mass. I think day 3 on your show, having almost 2 million viewers on Rumble and 1.7, yesterday and all the rest of it, I think you've reached the critical mass, and then once there's proof of this, everybody's going to go to Rumble, and as long as they don't get bought out or controlled or shut down, that will be the chain reaction.
Well, here's the beauty, too, because Rumble, it's a publicly traded company, but they're only as valuable as their protection of free speech, right? They told the French government, well, go screw yourselves if you want to get rid of Rumble, if you want to ban us. So they've kind of painted themselves in a corner, which they've willingly done. And here's something else, too. This is something that is, and I appreciate the point. I think you're right. I don't think we've hit critical mass. We have ourselves, where we don't have to rely on YouTube. But what I want is none of you to have to rely on YouTube. It's the first one.
Oh, I totally agree.
We can
You've
affect.
reached critical mass, and your gamble was right. You believe in the people. So far, this is spectacular. You guys, have got to be excited. But exactly, the big critical mass, you guys could be like the smaller critical mass that causes a larger critical mass, kind of like with some types of atomic bombs or hydrogen bombs. They fire a uranium bullet into a block of plutonium. So you guys have already reached critical mass, and now we're firing the uranium into the plutonium.
I'm not a nuclear physicist, but I'll take your word for it that it's correct. So here's one thing that I do want to say, though. I think I'm sure he's right. I just can't verify it, just so you know, so don't hold me to it. So this is something else, too. When conservatives out there say that YouTube and Facebook, today, what are we, March 22nd? Starting today, going forward, March 22nd, 2023. Everyone mark this down in your calendar. This is what we are excited about. This is what gets us out of bed in the morning. Going forward from today, whenever conservatives say that YouTube or Facebook are integral to the business model, meaning we have to make sure that all conservatives, look, that's where people are. We have to go on YouTube. We have to make sure we're monetized. We have to make sure that no one gets suspended on Facebook. That's a choice. That's a choice. Now, it's a choice that everyone can make, but it's a clear one. So remain on YouTube, or even worse, remain monetized on YouTube, continue lining Google and YouTube's pockets while living a life of self-censorship, hoping that they kill you last, or you have door number 2, take your audience where they want to follow you anyway, which, by the way, is anywhere else. The whole staying on YouTube, and by the way, I don't mean using YouTube or uploading clips. That's great. I think you should. But using it as the fulcrum of your media model moving forward now is a choice. You are choosing to be in business with YouTube at this point over other alternatives. because now there are alternatives. Alternatives. I sound like I had a stroke like a former Vice President pedophile Joe Biden, because they are now officially viable. So right now out there, if you are a creator, if you're a producer, if you're a company, you can migrate off of YouTube and you can keep your viewership. You don't have to sacrifice it. You can earn a living. And you can build your business on an alternative like Rumble. Maybe there will be other places. Right now, Rumble's the game in town as far as enough viewers and as far as the capabilities. You can do all this while still using YouTube to reach new people, but not being in bed with them. YouTube does not have to be your main video delivery platform anymore. No company is perfect, but at this point, you are choosing Rumble over YouTube. You are. But if you choose to be monetized on YouTube, that's you making a choice to choose YouTube over Rumble. You are choosing their rules. You are choosing their shackles over the freedom of another platform. Now, if you want to speak freely, if you want to, the whole "I was just doing my job" excuse, that's done. It can no longer be used because it also isn't required for business. It's dead. It's done now. There's an alternative, and you don't have to compromise. And that is something exciting. Everyone out there, you're a content creator, head on over, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I love. Sorry, go ahead.
One other point I wanted to make is, no, that's absolutely right. Like, it's a proof of concept, but here's what we did. It takes work. For 2 years, we've been using YouTube or Rumble and saying, hey, if we're not on YouTube, we are on Rumble. Right. It's paid out big time for us because we would get strikes, we wouldn't be able to air, and in the past we just were dead for a week, right? We wouldn't be streaming anywhere. So if you're a content creator right now, create a Rumble page as well. It's not going to hurt you to have an alternative, especially when YouTube comes
and you'll get more views on Rumble.
Well, you've got to have it, and plus Rumble's the new hot thing.
You'll get more views. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You will get. It used to be like, okay, at least I won't be censored, but I won't have as many people watching. Now you won't be censored, and you'll have more people watching. Isn't that exciting?
Because you're not throttled.
Every single person on the right should be excited about that. And by the way, you don't have to have a business relationship with Rumble. You probably don't. You don't have one with YouTube. Just go and put it somewhere where you'll get more views and you don't have to censor yourself.
Because I know your audience gets it because we've been beating them over the head with it, but it's so true. I don't get up here and say something's historic, get excited, so excited I run to the wall and almost cut my nose off for no reason. To get 170,000, to get 1.7 million views on Rumble the second day you move over, I know inside YouTube is turning a lot of heads. And again, they tried to censor, they tried to control. We see Joe Rogan, who's a great guy, go to Spotify, and everybody had an exodus there, but they censored just as much as YouTube. And so it's very exciting.
Maybe not just as much, but some strings attached.
Well, it goes on. I mean, I'm not saying with Joe, but with a lot of the other shows, people are getting
with other shows
taken down. So what I'm saying is, it's good to see that Rumble's telling the truth. It's good to see that so quickly it's really having success. And I agree with you. I think you're going to see, if the audience stays excited right now, we'll be able to look back on this in 6 months and say this was basically the end of YouTube being the place for conservative, populist, and national news. And by then, they'll be begging, just like with Joe Rogan clips from Spotify, they'll be begging for Rumble clips over there. And so you'll just have highlights of Steven Crowder over there. They'll have more viewers than ever. And it just shows how they're arrogant, they're disconnected, they think they're God, they think they can censor us and lie about us, and it's not going to work. And they think the left can sit over there on YouTube, like in the case of myself, and lie about me, and I can't respond. So that's why I appreciate you, Steven, and your crew is, you stood up for me 4 or 5 years ago when I was being targeted, had no other place outside of my own, phantom zone they put me in InfoWars to be able to communicate. I could talk to my audience, but I could never respond to lies they were telling. Exactly. So I'm very thankful for you. And again, I see your success as my success, and I see it as all the viewers and listeners' success. So what you're saying is not even a offer or request. I think everybody, including folks that have never really created content, should go to Rumble, because Rumble, in the fight for free speech, is doing more than Trump's done, more than Congress is doing, more than Jim Jordan, more than these hearings. Steven Crowder and Rumble, and what they're doing is doing more than all those guys combined. This is action. This is exciting. Because if we don't have free speech and a platform to fight the globalists, we're going to lose. If we have a platform, it'll cause a revolution, an exodus, and a whole new renaissance of free media, not distributed worldwide. And America can again be the leader in free speech, not the leader in censorship.
You are a marvel.
Love it.
Love it. It's always fun having Alex Jones. And by the way, we did not plan. Maybe there's some way. You know what? Maybe we'll put out a poll if there's some way for Mug Club members to get access also to MadMaxWorld.tv, if there's a way to benefit the viewer where they can get access to all of it. Again, and the beauty is all of these contracts are independent. People take their subscribers. They get to keep their subscribers. Everyone who's signed with us will announce when Nick DiPaolo's show's coming in, announce the comedy specials here next week. Tomorrow we also have Brian Callen on the show. We'll be talking about theology. There's a Friday show. Please do smash the Rumble button, and there's 1 month free of Mug Club. You don't have to pay. You just have to sign up. You don't have to enter in your credit card info. You'll probably do that at the end of the month. We get you a little bit addicted to this, and then it's like the crack cocaine, from what I understand. But before we go, and it's a live show, Monday through Thursday. I almost said Tuesday. That'd be 2 days.
Wow.
Boy. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And, of course, Alex Jones is MadMaxWorld.tv. Go and watch him. Don't watch him. Don't go to that place that doesn't exist. At noon, 11 Eastern. But
because I'm not having Robert Barnes fill in the first hour. Great lawyer, really smart guy on the Trump indictment arrest watch. And then I'll be on the second and third hour with some special guests. Do not tune into MadMaxWorld.tv. Do not tune into MadMaxWorld.tv.
No, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just a thing.
Does it take you to Mando video?
I don't even know why you're saying it. I think I'm going to have to take you out in a straitjacket because you keep naming things that don't exist.
I was supposed to be shut down. I was supposed to be gone.
Yeah, well, you are because there's nothing there.
I'm not on the number one, live show right now on YouTube and on Rumble. I mean, you don't exist either.
No. None of us exist.
Have you seen Obama and the rest? I mean, when I say Obama, I mean the new Obama, the third Obama, Biden, but also Obama. They give speeches now and have like 50 live viewers.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's pathetic.
That sounds inflated.
Well, let's...
yeah, probably is.
They're padding that a little bit. Yeah, Frank Luntz in his stupid tennis shoes and toupee. Did I hear 50? Did I hear 50? Okay, there's 50 people. They're like, it's
Fine.
just you. Yeah, but this rug counts as two. So we're going to talk about this here exclusively on Rumble. Usually this would be on Mug Club, but you get to watch it this week. So Philly... Some people call it Philadelphia. I call it Philly. Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to be paying nearly $10 million to George Floyd protesters. And I know some of you, what you're saying is you're going, what? That's probably what some of you are responding. So let me just play this clip, and then we'll go exclusively to Rumble because there's no way we can touch this on YouTube. The city of Philadelphia, Philly for short, they've agreed to pay out $9.25 million. I rounded up to 10 to 342 protesters from the George Floyd riots. Here's a clip.
We all remember seeing these images in both May and June of 2020. Now the city has agreed to pay a record $9.25 million to more than 300 protesters who were injured by Philadelphia police during demonstrations following the murder of George Floyd.
The absurdity of being
Future
subject
millionaires.
to police brutality during a protest against police brutality was not lost on us.
All right, so we're not going to touch this with a 10-foot YouTube poll. Download the Rumble app right now. Just go to lighthearthcredit.com/mugclub or just hit the button and go to Rumble. We are going to continue with Alex Jones to discuss this. YouTube, you have to do what I have to do, which is piss off.